Today's a good day. Do you want to know why? Sure you do. Maybe my poetry might make someone else feel seen. It might make someone else feel heard. Well, I'm doing a really fun thing right now. It needs to be more important than just doing it for views. It's hot out here and it's very bright. We're gonna make this as fast as possible, but we're gonna have fun. Hi, baby. Hello, little basil. You didn't ask for this, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway. You wanna know what's stuck in my head ever since I woke up this morning is Tippy canoe and Tippy too. Did I make that up, or is that a saying? And if it's a saying, am I saying it wrong? Let me know down below, please. Well, hello, my name is Tuesday Welch. I'm so glad you're here. My channel is all about writing and art, and I typically have a lot of people drop off at the beginning of my videos, so please don't, because I'd really love for this vlog to give you the opportunity to get to know me and get excited or interested about the work that I do, my art and my writing. And a lot of times I just let the camera go, so who knows what's going to happen. Tippy canoe and Tippy too. This was yesterday's studio drink. On to get another. Check the outfit today. Grunge hobgoblin. That's what I go for when I'm working in my studio. I never put drink. You know what? I can't say never because there's been a couple times, like, without thinking, I'll just sit it down. But 99.9% of the time, I never put a drink over here because this is where I have a lot of my electronics, and especially my computer that I need to get up and going. To get it started. So I'm recording on my phone, but typically I will have this set up and have my phone laying against it. Gotta put my pin in. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. So it is 10:59, and when I schedule my reels to go out, I typically do 10 o'clock anyway, but specifically for this month of July, it has been 10 o'clock right on the dot. So it's already been about an hour, so I'm going to check my socials and see how they've done, how they've performed, how many views I've gotten. What I really love is when someone likes a video of mine. I got plenty of views, and plenty of views for me means more than just like 17. Not that those 17 don't matter, but like a good amount of people have seen it, a few hundred at least. That makes me feel pretty good. If it's like 30 something, I'm like, okay, all right. But if it's a few hundred, I'm like, oh, yay. But I am going to see. Oh, and I also really love it when people comment on my stuff. Love it. I woke up one morning to a comment from somebody who thanked me for my advice, and oh, it made me feel so good. That's the kind of stuff I love. I want engagement. I want there to be a conversation. I want you to ask me questions. If you need advice, I mean, heck, if you even needed life advice, I don't know you, but I'd give it to you. But writing advice or art advice, questions, how I use things. I know I haven't put up enough content for people to really be interested in what I do, and you probably haven't seen much of my style with artwork because I just haven't put up as much artwork online as other artists have. And I also have only done one video that showcases a time lapse of a painting I did. I've only done that one time, and that was, I think, over a year ago. But I've been working so hard on finishing up these videos that I have already filmed and working on the business side of stuff that my art has taken a pause. I say that, but there's been 2 little things I did. I did this just for fun, just to practice with my pastels, not oil pastels, regular pastels. And no smudge. That's because I used this and I did that quick little sketch. So I have done like 2 things recently, which is not a lot. It is not a lot in the grand scheme of other artists' content that I feel like they put out a lot. But here's the reality. Art takes time, so I can't just quickly pump out stuff just for the sake of putting things out, because if I'm going to spend my time away from my family to work on something, it needs to be more important than just doing it for views. If something is going to take me away from my responsibilities at home and my kids and my husband, it needs to be more important than just trying to make content for the sake of people looking at what I made. When I do something, I've got to be really passionate about it. Yeah, those were quick little things, and it's okay to practice, and practicing doesn't necessarily mean that it's a big art piece that you've spent a lot of time developing or getting a reference for and all the ins and outs of making an art piece. If you're just sketching and you're practicing, which is what I was doing, then I'm not too worried about being passionate about it. But if I'm going to take the time to make a piece, a painting, artwork of any kind, then I want it. What's the story? What am I trying to tell? Am I truly passionate about this? Do I really want to put this out in the world? Is this really what I want to spend my time on? And because of that, I don't put out a whole lot of art content, because I have lots of ideas up here, but it just takes me so long to get it out of my head. She's ginormous, aren't you, baby? Unlike Grant, she's probably loving this. Oh, snuggles. Oh, and then I've got my corgi, Basil, who she's little, but she is mighty. Yes, you're mighty too. I've got to pick her up gently because of her body structure. Here's my baby. Here's my Basil. She's not used to this. I don't typically pick her up because I don't want to hurt her back. And then I've got my Cooper, who is one of the sweetest dogs I've ever known. But I think he probably would rip someone's face off if they touched one of his children. Another big boy. Oh. Hi, baby. Cooper. Was that you and me? Was that you and me? Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Oh. Another big boy. Is that you and me? Is that you and me? Oh. Oh my gosh, I went on a tangent and I started showing you my dogs and I got sidetracked again. Oh. Lord help me. Lord, please help me now. My soul is crying out. My God, I'm tired of trying to be okay. I prayed all the prayers I have to pray. Please don't leave me lonely. My God, I need you to hold me. That what I posted today was a carousel. So I don't think that there's a way for me to see how many people have viewed it, but I'm going to go into my, like, the back door to my content and see if I can see anything there. There's a sliding scale apparently that I've never seen, and it's like worst to best. And right now, this carousel on the scale, it's like, this is your worst. This is the worst. I have a really dry sense of humor, so I think that's funny. Oh, you can't see it. I'll get you closer. Get you closer. Look at that. Look at the backdrop. So I have these are my fantasy book recommendations. So I have the backdrop, really moody, it's cool. And then I have the picture of the book. This is the only one where I did the whole series in one picture instead of doing it individually. And then I have a blurb at the bottom. And then I have several books. Moving on with the day. Moving on, moving on, moving on today. So I've run into a little bit of a snag. Not major, but I see a place in my video for my mini documentary where it would be really cool to add a picture of the festival that I mention in the mini documentary. It all pertains. If you watch the mini documentary, you'll understand. And so I Googled pictures of this festival, and I know for a fact that the local news station, the pictures that they take are owned by them, and so I don't want them to copyright my video or there be any legal issue. So I'm probably going to have to contact the local news station and ask permission to use a photo very briefly in, or maybe even a couple photos in the video. I don't know who I would talk to, and I'm not quite sure how I will word it, but I think I'm probably going to have to do that so that I can have good footage, because I didn't take any photos of Columbus Days with the intention of using it for this video. Like, I took pictures of my kids, but I'm not going to put that on the internet. And I don't like to take video of other people, pictures or anything, because they didn't ask to be in my video. I'm not going to put them on the internet like that. Sometimes it's a little unavoidable when they're in the back. But I'm definitely seeing where next time I film a documentary, I need to take better camera. I need to have better camera angles. I need to not move around so much. Also, pause a beat after the person I'm talking to speaks, because there's been a few times where I've had to clip off what they say immediately after they say it, because I am right there to be like, oh yeah, and I'm starting to talk, and nope. So I need to let them talk, take a beat, take a pause, and then respond if what they said warrants a response. And it would be really cool if I had a drone so that I could take aerial footage, because the Columbus Days Festival that is mentioned in my mini documentary, that would have been really cool to have like a zoomed out view, because there will be people, but it's not like I'm close up and see people's faces. There'll be more like blurs at the bottom, and that would be really cool to see all the people there that come. I've already spoken to the next place that I'm going to be doing a mini documentary. I've already spoken to the curator there, and she actually seemed excited that I wanted to do a documentary. She did ask to not be on camera, which is perfectly fine, and I'm going to respect that. It's already been several months since I first talked to her about it, because I was actually going to do that first, and then Columbus Days was coming up, and I saw in the brochure for Columbus Days the art gallery. And I have lived here basically my whole, except for the 2 years I was in college and the 5 years that I lived in Springfield, Missouri for, or right after I got married. I have lived here my whole life in the Southeast Kansas area. So I was rather surprised that I didn't really know about the art gallery. And then I started thinking, wait, I have been there before. I've been in her gallery. And Laura is lovely. I really enjoyed working with her on this documentary. The interview process, she's been super helpful of, like, she's got the memory of an elephant when it comes to telling me whose artwork was what, because something else I need to do better at in the future is whenever I was filming all the artwork, but I didn't take down names of people. And so while I was editing, I thought, oh, well, I'll just zoom into their name placards and get their information from that. And it was too blurry, so I had to go back in. And by that time, the gallery had changed, and she didn't have the stuff out like she did before. And so I showed her pictures from the film, and she told me who the artist was. Well, I'm doing a really fun thing right now. I am taking the time to find any links associated with any of the artists featured in the gallery that my mini documentary is about, reaching out to contact everyone that I can to let them know about the documentary, that I'll be giving them credit and if they want a copy afterwards. So it's a lot of tedious work, but I'm just that much closer to being done, and I really do have a goal to be done by the Columbus Days Festival that's held in my town, which is in October. My goal is to be done by the end of summer. So if I keep trucking along and keep being really productive in my studio and keep tick marking off all of the things on my to-do list, I will reach that goal, because I want to finish producing it, publish it by the end of September, so that it gives people time to see it and view it. And I'll also be trying to share it with the locals here in Columbus, Kansas, so that they also can know about this gallery, because I think it's important. I think it's important to share art, and I want other people to see Laura's gallery, and I really hope that that works out. So I didn't realize that this vlog was going to end up talking about the mini documentary so much. I figured it would just be all about making reels and content in July, which this is technically content, just a little bit different. It's not a short or a reel or a come with me in my studio type of video while I do something. It's a documentary. So while I've been editing it, I've also been taking mental notes of things that I could do for the next one I do, which will be around March of next year. Got plenty of planning to do so that I get everything just right and do these places justice. And also I had the idea of, if I could find any surviving living artists that have work in the museum, maybe interviewing them, that would be really cool. All right, back to work. This is not good lighting. Better over here. Oh, good grief. We may just have to live with it. If we have to live with it, I think I'll just put you over here. Well, a little update. So I left a voicemail to contact my local news station for getting permission to use a photo they took last year of Columbus Days. So just waiting to hear back from them. And I got a notification or an email. I got contacted by YouTube that there was a copyright claim on a video I posted yesterday or the day before. Really big, long hassle. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but a little frustrating. So the video is 1.5 minutes long, and seriously, long story short, I thought that they had an issue with a different video, and I was looking into it, and I'm thinking there are plenty of content creators who have used this piano music. I should be fine to use it myself, and the music belonged to someone else. The copyright claim was from Make Sound, and I'm like, Make Sound did not make this music. Too different, so this doesn't make sense. But there wasn't a place to put, there wasn't an option to click on the dispute for, actually this is not the same song that is being claimed. Well, I'm so glad I dug a little bit more, because I had the wrong video. So I found the right video that they had a problem with, and I did use Make Sound's audio, but it was longer than 60 seconds. And because it was longer than 60 seconds, that's why they took issue with it. So I just deleted the audio because I don't want to have any problems. I don't like drama. I don't want to deal with anything negative that has to do with my account, because I want to be able to create videos, and if there's an issue or a copyright strike, or for any reason I violate any type of terms and conditions on YouTube and they remove my YouTube channel, I won't be able to create a new one, because that's what it says. Whenever I was looking at the dispute for it, it had a warning like, hey, you could lose your YouTube account and you will not be able to create a new one. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize my channel, because I get a lot of joy from making videos. So I just deleted the video and re-uploaded it. But I'm glad I got that done, because the museum didn't open until 1 o'clock, and it was like 12:15 by the time I was done trying to contact KOAM, and dealing with the copyright strike literally took until about 1 o'clock. So the museum was open, and I called, and the lovely lady who is in charge of the museum, she's just a delight. And I introduced myself and said, I don't know if you remember me, but last September I had talked to you about filming a documentary of the artwork in the museum, and she remembered me, and she's looking forward to working with me, and I'm looking forward to working with her too. So had kind of a frustrating time with the YouTube dispute thing. Got it figured out, but it just perked me up talking to the museum curator and director, and now my spirits are more lifted, because she was a gem to speak to, and she made me laugh. I made her laugh. We had a good time. It was just a quick little phone call, but oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for a few reasons, because one, I love to film, so I'm just itching to get in there. I love the artwork in the museum, and she has a wealth of knowledge to share, so I am really looking forward to her interviews. And because I have so much time before I film the documentary, it gives me plenty of time to plan out all of the questions, which I already have a whole bunch of questions already written down, but I can plan a lot better, because having done the mini documentary for the gallery in town, I see how I could have planned a little bit better, held the camera better, had less shaky visuals, and so I can literally write like a script of how I'm going to film it, and take B-roll of the outside of the building, because I kind of wish I had that for the other one, but it's in town. I can just go take video of the Maple Uncommon if I need some B-roll, so it's fine. They're just some little things that I can fine-tune and work, because how I like to work is I work on something for a little bit, I leave it for a little while so I can think about it, mull things over, so by the time I get back to it again, I feel like I have fresh eyes, and I can look at it again and see, how can I tweak this to make this better, how can I improve. And that's kind of my work ethic when it comes to writing. And because even though filming is a physical action, making a script is writing it out. So what do I want to say, what questions do I want to ask, what type of B-roll footage do I want to take. And it also gives me time to research other documentaries to see how they've done it, so that I can take notes of the different edits that they put in their videos. And the museum curator did mention, and I don't think this is sharing too much of her personal life, but she is hoping to retire. So I'm just like, please don't retire before I film, because I want to work with her so badly. She's so sweet. And she's been doing this for a really long time, so she knows a lot about that museum. And yep. All right, I've got to feed my kids lunch, and then I'm right back to working again. You didn't ask for this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Do you want to see some real life? Do you? Do you actually? Look at my sink right now. Don't. I changed my mind. Don't look at it. Who do you think I am? An influencer? I don't know what you think I am, but I am a housewife, so pretty sure there's going to be some opinions about a dirty kitchen being a housewife who should clean up every day and everything should be spotless. Let me just shatter your illusions right now. Just because I'm a housewife does not mean my house is spotless. Would I love it to be? Yes. I'm type A. I'm organized. I love cleanliness. But it's not always possible. It just genuinely isn't. But I'm making my kids some sandwiches and some fruit for lunch today. And for myself, I am eating this whole thing because I'm really hungry. I'm working with a dietitian right now, manage my health, and she is trying to help me eat more because that is actually a problem of mine. I'm not eating enough. I know I just shocked some people there, didn't I? Because she be a big lady. Let me just tell you right now, I'm comfortable with myself. I don't mean to not eat enough. I'm working on it, genuinely. I have bought snacks so that I can quickly grab something, but I've been consistently not eating enough for probably years. And I know that doesn't help. Your body needs food, and I promise, I'm not trying to. I love food, and I know maybe some people, not you, because you're nice, right? But some people, especially on the internet, may be like, oh my gosh, that big girl doesn't eat enough? I don't believe that. She probably eats a whole whale every day. Look at how big she is. Well, how did she get so big if she ain't eating enough? I'm not going to talk about why I'm big because I'm not going to bore you with the details of my health. But I will just say, for anyone out there who is struggling with their weight, it's your body. You're going to be with yourself every day of your life. Wouldn't you rather be nice to yourself and be kind to yourself? Because if you were stuck with a friend who was terrible to you day in and day out and belittled you, you wouldn't want to be with them. So don't be that way to yourself. Whenever I was younger, I had unhealthy eating habits, and I was really skinny, and at that time, whenever I was a teenager, I would have been mortified to be the size that I am now. But I have changed. I'm a different person, and the size I am now doesn't shock me. It doesn't upset me. Do I want to be healthy? Yes. Am I shaming anyone who's skinny? No. But you can be unhealthy and skinny. You can be big and healthy. You can be small and healthy. You can be small and unhealthy. You can be big and unhealthy. People are so unique. Everybody's different. And if someone doesn't treat you right because of your body, honey, that's them, not you. Not you at all. I, for one, try to appreciate my body. It has taken me through my entire life. This is the body I've had no matter what has been going on. It has survived lots of stuff. And I used to work at a clothing store, and I got to dress people up, and I loved it. Because when I got just the right outfit, because it felt a little bit like a mystery, like I'm on the case, because they would tell me their style. I could see their style by how they were dressed themselves, and I would pick out outfits. And when I got them in the correct size clothing, in a style that they liked, oh, just the joy that would come over their face. They would get so happy, and it made me feel so good. And I had the opportunity to pour into a lot of women who had a lot of insecurities, and it broke my heart for them. That is something that really hurt my heart about that job, was just how many women thought so poorly of themselves because of the way their body looked. Honey, I've been there. Whether whoever's watching, whether you are a guy or a girl, honey pertains to boy or girl, okay? So, honey, please don't dislike yourself because of how you look. Coming from a person on the internet who you probably do not know very well, but I just want to be encouraging to you. Be kind to yourself, and I genuinely mean that. There was one lady that came into the store, and she wanted to look really good, but she was insecure about her arms. And she's like, they move, they wiggle, and they wave. And I was like, girl, when I wave hello, I wave 4 ways. Look at that. Look at my underarms. Look at how much they move. I'm waving my hands, I'm waving my arms. I wave 4 ways whenever I'm waving. She laughed. We got a good chuckle out of it. Your body doesn't define you. Your body doesn't define you. If you took away the fat, you would still be you. Hey. Because I know you all were wondering what I was going to be wearing tonight. Leggings, comfy loose top, complete with partially hairy armpits. No, I'm kidding, but not that I really think that you cared or were even wondering, but I thought it might be nice to show me in something other than my traditional studio ragamuffin clothes. Going to the fair, baby. Also, if you're going to a county fair, it's stinky, it's hot, it's dirty. I know you might want to wear those shorty shorts, but if you don't want flies circling your ankles, leggings are the way to go. Still same outfit, just changed it a little bit. Made it a tie. It looks less like a nightgown. You thought it too, didn't you? And a little hip bag. Onward to the fair.
Okay, look at this guy. You were thinking it too, admit it.
If there is art to be found, I shall find it. And sure enough, this barndominium had this really cool display of people's artworks. And there was a whole lot there. Drawings, photographs, paintings, quilts. Really, really cool. You didn't ask for this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway because my studio tends to go through transformations on occasion, and it has, again. It's still the 5x5 square it is right here in this corner, but on literally the other side of my door, over here on this side of my room, oh no, find me, there we go. I have this kind of square space as well, and it has my packages, things that I need to have in storage, finished pieces, works in progress. Right now, this is set up because I was taking some film of myself. I probably need to sit. That's probably what I need. For different videos And that was fun because it looked really nice and it was really pretty. And I did this quick little sketch so that I had something, so it wasn't just a whiteboard. But my channel is all about writing and art, and I love both almost equally. So, but if I'm being honest, if I had to pick one, I might pick writing. Maybe. Ooh, don't quote me. But today is a filming day, so I have taken up more room in my bedroom than I normally do because I've had to move this desk out. That is my cart that I have gotten more storage over here, so I'm having to figure out what to do with that because what was on there is now a mixture of over there and over here. And I have this cart that is my art cart. There's my little puppy. Hi, baby. Hello, little basil. She's saucy. She is a saucy little thing. Aren't you, baby? Aren't you? Oh, there's Jealous Roxy. Oh, hey, baby. Hello, baby. And Jealous Roxy. Yes, here's your baby, too. And also Cooper. But it's a film day and an editing day, all rolled into one. So I've had to make space to go grab things that I needed. And yeah, like I said, it changes because if I'm heavily working on my book or other books that I'm working on simultaneously, I don't know if I suggest that or recommend that, but the high fantasy novel that I have been working on consistently for a few years now. Has it been 4 years? Whoa. I need to speed up how much I work on that because 4 years, oh my gosh, that's a long time to work on a book. And I'm not even halfway. Oh my gosh, it's just I'm putting a lot of work into the world building and plot holes and all of that stuff. Anywho, there we go. My arm was getting tired. Ooh. If I'm working on writing, I will have this desk over here more. Sorry. I don't have a vlog camera. I just have my phone. That is what I film on. So it's a little shaky and the audio isn't perfect. But I'm not perfect. And I also don't have a camera. But I'm saving up for one. I keep getting sidetracked. Writing. If I'm working on writing, obviously my area is set up for writing, so I have my notebooks out with all of my story, world building thoughts and notes, and then I have my laptop out, obviously, because that's what I write on, and I'll have my tablet, and then on my other desk I will have a drink, maybe a couple, and other various things. I don't really need a whole lot for writing. It's pretty straightforward, but for my art, I can take up a lot more space. And when I am working on a watercolor, hardly takes up any space. Sumi, it does take up more space because there's tools needed to make the ink from the ink sticks if I'm doing it that way. And then if I'm doing acrylics, I've got to have my big old glass palette out and all my paints, and I put my paints in categories, and then I have all my tools like my palette knife and my brushes, which conveniently stay on that cart so they're not taking up table space. But sometimes I'll have them out on my table because I just used one and it's wet, so I'm leaving it out and I'm not going to put it with all my clean dry ones. And I'll have an easel on one table, my water and drinks on another table. I'll have my paints and my palette on another table, so I take up a lot of space when I'm painting. Anyway, really long way to say that my studio changes how it looks on occasion. Wow, that's a very beautiful shot. I laugh, I tend to throw myself around a little bit. See, I want to do tip videos, and I feel like I have to be a little bit more professional when I do a tip video because I want to seem reliable, like I've got good advice. But I also can't help myself because I would do these little skits on occasion where I would do something really silly. And they make me giggle. I enjoyed them so much. So that kind of brought down the professionalism just a little bit. But yeah. These vlogs, which I don't know if I'll do a lot of them or if they'll even be liked. If you watch it, you're probably going to watch it more for my personality and the chatty aspect of it. Potentially more than like it's really good quality, because one, I don't have a camera. I don't have all of the accoutrements to make a beautiful vlog. Like a drone to get aerial shots, or like I'm working on different ways that I shoot my films or my videos so that it looks really nice, but I'm still learning. So I'm also learning how to edit and thinking about changing from CapCut to something else, because if you have not heard about what's going on with CapCut, it's a bit scary and I don't like it. So tally-ho, onward to something else. It's hot out here and it's very bright. We're gonna make this as fast as possible, but we're gonna have fun. Now I gotta run all the way back to get my goodies. And of course I gotta take you with me. I just realized I filmed all that with my slippers on that I wore outside so I could quickly take them off to film myself barefoot. So I have to do that whole thing again. So how this is gonna work is I'm going to film myself reaching up to grab it, and then I'm going to move the camera, angle it differently, and get a close-up so that you can see me grabbing it. And then there's going to be another shot of me putting it in my basket. Then there's going to be another shot of me picking them up off the ground. I will put them there. This is how content creation works. This is how you get multiple shots of the same thing. It's hot and burning. It's like Satan's butt crack out here. It's so hot. And I don't know if I'm wearing this dress as much as this dress is wearing me. Okay, it's possible you may laugh at me about this, but it's currently happening to me, so I wanted to talk about it, and I thought I would put it in my July reel because I literally just filmed a little bit ago, and I'm in the process of getting started working on my stuff, and right now I'm just working on scripts and planning out my reels for July. But there's this excitement that comes over me when I sit down to type that it's like butterflies in my stomach. I get so excited. I can't think clearly. I truly love to do this. And what I mean by this is writing. And however excited I am right now just working on scripts, it is 100 times more intense when I'm working on my novel. And I'll be honest, there's times I think, ooh, what am I gonna do when I'm done writing this high fantasy novel of mine? I may need to just let it be my Mona Lisa that I keep squirreled away and work on for the rest of my life. But I can't, because I want to publish it so that you guys can read it, so that we can talk about it together and geek out about it. And because one of the great things about fantasy stories, particularly, in my opinion, is the readers. You guys are awesome. You're the ones that are making fan fiction about it. You're the one making cosplays about stuff. You're the ones that come up with a lot of these theories, and you pose a lot of really good questions. You make fan art. It's literally the fans and the readers of books that make it that much more fun to be a writer. And I cannot wait to geek out with you all about this book, because all my fantasy lovers that love a created world, magic, dragons, fae, angst, adventure, a redemptive arc, really in-depth characters, a really exciting, immersive world, a hand-created language by moi, then I think you're going to like my novel. That was just a few elements of the story that I'm writing. It's going to be big, and I've so enjoyed working on it. But I get really excited when I start working, and I wanted to talk about it. Love what you do, folks. To be honest, sometimes some money is too expensive, if you know what I mean. Something else that I'm working on that I'm excited about is my poems. This thing is rough. It's not completely torn apart yet, but it's getting there. It's pleather, so you know what pleather does after a while. It peels and cracks, and this is finally doing that. I've taken good care of this. I have had it for maybe 2 decades. But this is my poem book. I have a notebook in the sleeve of this, and it's convenient because it's got a place to hold a pen, which is nice, but I can also fit another pen right there. Why I need 2 when I only write with one hand, I don't know. I just like to make sure I'm prepared. Anywho, what I like to do is when I write a poem, I will leave it for a while, and then I will go back and read it, because you're reading it almost with fresh eyes, because even though you're the one that read it, it's been a while, so it feels new, and that newness makes you notice little words or grammar that could be changed to improve on the poem. But here lately, this last year, whenever I've written a poem, it seems like I only get a blurb of it out. And it's okay if it's okay if a poem is short, but I feel like there's more that needs to be added. And for me, poetry is completely inspired. It's really hard for me to make a poem come out. I can try. There's a process I do to try to get into the headspace to write poetry, but for me personally, my poetry is more deep, sometimes darker, it's more melancholic, and so for me to write a poem, the type of poems that I write, I have to get myself in the headspace to be melancholic. So that's not really what I want to do to myself. So I very rarely allow myself to purposely do that. So when I am upset, that's just one of the ways I process grief or trauma or depression, sadness, or whatever I may be going through. I process it with poetry. And a lot of the times I won't even be working on a poem. I'll be doing something completely different, and then a poem just starts going in my head, and I have to write it down immediately or I will forget. So a lot of these, like I said, this last year, they've just been the beginnings of a poem, not the whole thing. So giving it some time and leaving it and then coming back and reading it, maybe I can see where I was at in the poem and how could I expand on it, how can I add, or does it need to just stay the length that it is, because I have one poem that's several pages long, and then I have others that are so short. Gosh, I must have written this. Oh, I did. I wrote this shortly after having surgery on my hand, so I was having to reteach myself how to write because I couldn't get my hands to do it yet, because just because of the surgery I had to train my hand to work again. And my chicken scratch is worse than it usually is. Okay, I'm gonna read it to you. Have you ever been around people who act like black mold, the devil in their eyes, making mischief like games? The board set up as my handwriting. Making mischief like games. The board set us up as losers, I think is what that last line is. It's rough. There's something there. Something. The next time I wrote a poem down that wasn't like typed out or talk texted in my phone, which I do a lot, was March. Should I read it to you? Do you want me to? There's no way for you to answer this, because by the time you see this, I will have either chosen to read this or not. So, do you want me to read this poem to you? Should I? But I will show you, at least whenever I go back in and rework a poem, I will cross things out. I will add things in the margins, like what to add, maybe changing a word here and there, because words are like a puzzle. A specific word you use changes the tone, it changes the atmosphere. Oh, I just love poetry. Love poetry. Sure, I'll read it to you since you asked so nicely. I woke up from a dream where I talked about my favorite day. There's a place I go sometimes when I close my eyes, a place that's old but fresh. There's a cabin, polished, and the doors creak in just the right way. There's a meadow just outside that's surrounded by forest. I took my kids this time. My daughter and I stood at the edge of the forest. I pointed towards a path only I know. I'll take you there sometime, I whispered. Just beyond this place is another, and it always changes each time I go. It's always vastly different, and I don't always love where I end up, but I keep taking that path regardless. Once the path didn't take me anywhere, no matter how many times I walked back and forth. The way wouldn't open for me. But the walk back to the meadow always feels like coming home. That's true. This is a true story. So I don't know if I will have broadcasted it by this video, but along with my high fantasy that I'm writing, excuse me, I am also working on some other books too, because my high fantasy is just taking so much of my time, and I love it. I'm not complaining, but it's taking so long to write that the other stories scrambling around my brain are itching to get out. And so I've started working on outlines and developing the other ones just a little bit so that I can at least get them out of me so that they're written down and there's some type of progress made on them. But one of them in particular, which is actually going to read more like a memoir, is a book about my nightmare disorder, because I have had some very vivid, crazy, wild dreams, nightmares. Yeah. And you might think, well, why is that interesting enough to write about? Well, the dreams are very intense. They're very interesting, very odd. and they also tie into my life as well. So this poem in particular that I just read to you, it's true. The crazy thing though is dreams aren't real because they're your dreams, right? But they're true because you dreamt them. So I think it's really interesting how in my novel specifically, this memoir, if you would call it, about my life and my nightmare disorder, I think the dichotomy of the realism of real life and the realism of a dream that didn't actually happen. Did I articulate that right? Because, like I said just a minute ago, the dreams are true because I've dreamt them, but they didn't happen in real life. So I think it's interesting to see the perspective of this is all true, but some of it isn't true in the sense that it didn't actually happen. It was just inside my head. But not like, oh, I'm crazy, this was all in my head. This was while I was sleeping, while I was dreaming. Everybody dreams. So this dream in particular, this really happened. This is a poem about a dream that I had. And sometimes I do dream about, or there are times that I write poetry based on my dreams because it helps me process, because they're really intense. And there is one poem, it's in here somewhere in my poetry book. I'm pretty certain I've already written it down in here, but what's interesting is before I fell asleep, I knew what type of dream or nightmare I was going to be having based on how I was about to fall asleep. So if I twitched a few times as I was falling asleep, I knew that it was going to be a really nasty nightmare. And if while I was starting to fall asleep and I was like right on the precipice, like you are about to fall asleep and you are almost there so much that you can't wake yourself up because you're there. You're about to be asleep. If I heard screaming in my head right before I finally like conked out and woke up in a dream, I knew it was going to be really awful. So if I was twitching and if I heard screams, especially both, I knew I was going to be in for a wild ride that night. And so I started to develop a poem about that, and I'm trying to remember the beginning of it was, I'm 3 twitches from falling and I don't know where I'll end up. So I know there's more there. I know there's more to it. I just have to develop it. So that is something that I have been working on as well, is going through my older poems and developing them more and working on them and tweaking words, because I would like to share my poetry, but because it can be so dark and possibly depressing, I'm just worried that people are going to be like, girl, are you okay? And to that, I would say there are times I'm not. I'm human. But I also worry that my poetry wouldn't be God-honoring, because it can get really dark. But then I remember the Psalms were written by a depressed king who really struggled in his life, King David. And whether or not you believe that Jesus existed and that the Bible is true, King David was a real historical figure, and he did really write these poems and talked about hard stuff. So I'm not comparing my poetry to the beautiful Psalms, but I've got to give myself some grace that maybe my poetry might make someone else feel seen. It might make someone else feel heard. It might put into words what other people might be feeling when they're struggling. And God didn't just allow me to have all my struggles in life for it to not be useful for something. If you keep a candle hidden, then who's going to benefit from the light from it? And yeah, it has to burn for there to be light. So sometimes we get burned by life, but you can't just keep it hidden because it might help someone else. That's just my 2 cents about it. Today is a good day. Do you want to know why? Sure you do. My best friend in the whole world, other than my husband, is coming over and we're having a work day. We've started this recently where my husband will watch the kids and we work on our novels, work on our books. Oh, I love it. It's so exciting. I let her pick out a studio drink and I get her all fixed up in my studio and we work together. Oh, I love it. It is literally brings me joy. It uplifts me, gets me so excited. It is something that I look forward to, that even days after it happening, I still think about and smile. Oh, it's just stuff like that that brings me so much joy. So I'm so looking forward to her being here soon. My cat just threw up. Anywho, I know this is a long vlog. I apologize. My gosh. For one, I need to learn how to be more concise and what things to actually put in a vlog. And I know this is super chatty. I can talk, obviously. If you have watched this far, I'm a talker. I am aware of it. But I decided to make this vlog, and it's been a really nice creative outlet to be able to chat without the stress of feeling like what I'm chatting about is overshadowing the video that I'm making, because this video is about what I'm doing in my studio. So I'm allowed to be chatty, whereas there's been plenty of times I've been making a video, a tip video or something, and I get to chatting about something unrelated and I have to edit it out. I don't have to do that here. But I will say that posting something every single day this month of July 2025, I have learned some things. I have learned that I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to try to convince people to buy things. I'm not worried about people buying from my Amazon lists. I love showing what I have in my studio, and I'm going to continue to do that, but I don't want to push for it, and I don't want to make content that reads like an ad, because some of my stuff to me has felt like it's an ad, even though I'm just showing what I use. So I will say some of my best reels, I was actually surprised that those were my best reels. So I have tried a few different tactics, just seeing what works. Posting different times, doing different types of posts, like actually have a post on Instagram, a carousel, reels, and then reels that were more like some song that was playing with a really short clip of me doing something, and then there's a voiceover, or I have you read the caption and I put all of what I want to voice in the caption instead of a voiceover. And I've been able to gauge and see what works and what doesn't work for the audience, because I'm not worried about being famous, but I would like a good following, because that's just more people seeing my content to get excited about my artwork, and specifically my book, which was the whole point of me starting a social media account anyway. So I just wanted to share that I have learned some things while posting every single day, and today is the 29th, so I still have a couple more days, and I'm not stressed about it. I've really learned by this point that I don't want to have to be an influencer and try to get people to buy from my Amazon lists. I'll share what I use and I'll talk about what I have, but I am not interested in making posts all the time about my picks and all this stuff. I'm like, if I have a pick, it's going to stay my pick. It's not going to be a fad or a trend. you know, it's just, if you find an art supply you like, that's just going to be what I like and what I use. It's not like kitchen gadgets where there's a new one every month. I will say, if you have stuck through this video, you are a trooper. I appreciate you, because this was long, potentially rough. And if there's things in particular that you liked about this vlog, please let me know. I'm not trying to fish for compliments. I genuinely want to know what works and what's entertaining, because to some degree I will cater to what you like, but for the most part I'm just making content because I enjoy it and it's a creative outlet for me. But if you have feedback, I'll listen to it, and if it's good feedback, oh my gosh, I think my cat is throwing up again. No! Oh, and my dog is eating it. Oh. Anyway, if you have good advice, I'll listen to it. If not, then I'll just ignore it. That's just what it is, right? Because everybody's that way. If you give good advice, then people will listen to it. If you give bad advice, they won't listen to it. You know what? Sometimes people do listen to bad advice. I'm rambling again. Oh my gosh. I'm just a talker. On the flip side, if there's anything that you did not enjoy about this vlog, also please let me know, because I can, again, it'll be the same thing. If you give good advice, constructive criticism, I'll listen to it. But if it's bad, if you're just mean, I'll just ignore you. Again, I appreciate you being here. And if you liked this video at all, then I'm pretty certain you're gonna like any of my other content. So you might as well just click on this video over here and check it out and see if you like that one as well. It's a lot shorter, probably a lot neater, more well constructed, and we still have a good time. Bye. But seriously, check it out. Check it out.